3 tips that you can start doing today to manifest your dream life. So without even knowing it, I didn't even realize how much I was manifesting the life I wanted to live. It's way more simple than you think. What happened? What am I doing here in Germany in the hockey industry 5 years later? If there's anybody to be talking on the topic of manifestation, I feel very strongly that I can guide you through this process. I used to think manifestation was kind of a hoax. I used to think maybe it was like a buzzword, a keyword that people just used in TikTok comments or Instagram comments when they were visualizing somebody else's life and wanting that as their own. But manifestation is seriously one of the most powerful tools that brought me to where I am right now without even knowing it. Once I fully grasped the power of manifesting and what it could do for me, I feel like it unlocked so many new opportunities in my life. Hi, my name is Madison, your BFF hockey wife here on YouTube. I talk a lot about my life living abroad with my husband. We've been living in Germany for 5 years for his hockey career. And if you would have asked me 10 years ago if I would ever to be living abroad, I would think you're crazy. When I was in college, I actually couldn't even do a study abroad program because at that time I was a pre-med student. So I was working towards going to medical school. And at that time, it just didn't allow me to go abroad, which really bummed me out because I thought to myself, my 21-year-old self, I was like, well, when am I ever going to go abroad if I don't go now? And that is the crazy story of it all, which leads us here. Like I was saying earlier, I'm here for my husband's hockey career. If you would have told me then you are going to be moving abroad and you are going to have a husband that plays professional hockey and you're going to be going to hockey games 3 times a week and all of that, I seriously would have thought you were crazy. I was at such a strange point of my career. I was so unhappy in college. I was so unhappy with the career path I thought was going to be right for me. I felt so stuck. It was like the sunken cost fallacy. I think I might have said that wrong, where I felt like I was in so deep that I couldn't turn around. I couldn't change it. I couldn't take a different direction because I would have wasted all that time. But I just wish I would have understood at that time too that 2 or 3 years in the span of your life is so small. And I wish I could have stepped back and changed those things when I had the opportunity to. But it did lead me to where I am today. The funniest part of it all is I ended up doing a career switch after I had graduated from University of Minnesota. I got the degree. I started volunteering in hospitals for free, doing all the things I needed to do to get into medical school. But in the back of my mind, I always knew I wasn't going to get in. And that's such a negative outlook on it. But for me, I just was like, I think I know it's not my path and it's telling me I'm not doing the right things to get to where I need to be. So unfortunately, I didn't get in. I remember crying myself in my room being like, well, what am I going to do? What is going to happen now? But there was also a sense of relief because I knew that path wasn't right for me. Still didn't feel like I was living my full potential, living myself. I feel like I'm a very creative person. I'm a very outgoing person. I love working in groups. I love working with people. And I don't think that I was truly being authentic to myself. I then had a breakdown where I was like, this is not right for me. What am I going to do? I was picturing myself. So what I said was, stop thinking so much about the exact job titles. When I picture myself on a daily basis, when I'm going into the office, when I'm going into the job, when I'm doing it, what does it look like? Where am I sitting? Who's around me? What are we talking about? And as I started to get those ideas and I started to be like, okay, I would like to be in a collaborative setting. I would like to be around people my age, people that I can build a community with, people I can, go get a drink with or a coffee with after work and hang out with. My friend at the time was like, I think that this job would actually be good for you. There's an opening. And at that time, that was a media strategy role at an ad agency. Now, listen, I had not a single ounce of ad experience, no marketing experience professionally, nothing of that sort. And I was like, I don't know why they would take me. Biology student, I barely made it by in college, let's be honest. I got my degree, but was I anywhere near the success that my peers were having in the same degree? Not really. I failed a class 2 times and I had to retake it. That took a lot of courage to fail it, go back and do it again, fail it again, and keep going back and doing it again until I passed. I think that speaks more volumes than just getting the A right away. That's just my opinion, but that's probably not what most people think. Anyway, I had met with a director of this ad agency. We had a conversation and she hired me on the spot. And from there, that is where my career kind of took its shift. And then it took another big shift when I moved to Europe with my husband. But enough about that specifically. So without even knowing it, I didn't even realize how much I was manifesting the life I wanted to live. It's way more simple than you think. It's always so funny too, because I have a TikTok where I talk about my life in Europe and my life living as a hockey wife. And the amount of comments I see like this, manifesting this. Oh my God, this is the life I always wanted to live. I want to tell you more about my manifestation journey, but I want to make this about you right now. So let's talk about 3 tips that you can start doing today to manifest your dream life. Let's go. Let's start doing it right now. Tip number 1, get clear on what you want. You might be like, okay, Madison, that's the dumbest advice ever. Of course, I know what I want and it's to have this. No. Let's back up. You can't manifest something unless you know exactly what it looks like. How does it feel? Let's include like all of your senses. Where are you in the moment? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you smelling? I don't know, like all of the things. Your idea is right here. Let's bring it down to a granular level. Let's break it down. Let's start at the bottom. As I said earlier, one of the things that helped me was to specifically visualize the elements around me. Where am I sitting? Who am I talking to? What are they saying? What am I surrounding myself with? And from there, I started to really understand, like, maybe I thought I wanted all this, but it's actually a little bit different because what people are saying in my dream is actually not what I think my dream is. I hope that makes sense to you. Because maybe you're like, oh, I want to work with influencers. I want to work in influencer marketing. But then when you sit down and you visualize your goals, you hear people talking about ad copy and like ideas for a Super Bowl commercial. And then you realize like maybe I just like marketing. Maybe I like working creative department of an ad agency. It's actually not working with influencers. So once you start specifically pulling those individual granular level goals, it'll start to help you paint the bigger picture of what you want. And it'll make it easier for you to get there. Those smaller goals, those daily smaller goals are so much easier to reach than that big one. Like you can take a step every single day to get there. Because maybe in your dream, you're hearing somebody talk about writing ad copy for a commercial. Maybe then you realize, oh, maybe I like writing. Maybe I should start finding a community around me or a club around me who does writing or poetry or reading. And you can start there. Another thing that helps me so much when I think about those daily smaller goals is creating vision boards, creating mood boards. I do this once a month. And that for me is in a calendar format that I use as the background of my computer screen. So think this, and this, all of these every month. I intentionally sit down, even if it's a really busy month, I will sit down, find time to pull some ideas of what I want my month to look like. Take a second, slow down, give yourself some time to think about you and what your goals are specifically for that month. Tip number 2, align your actions with your visions. What does this actually mean? It's not just thinking, it's doing. Every step you're taking should be aligning with what you're manifesting. The big goal sometimes seems daunting because it seems so big. So start by coming up with a calendar. And for the calendar, write a goal that you want for that week. And from there, narrow it down to what you're going to be doing on the daily. For example, if you want to be a content creator, you want to have a YouTube channel or TikTok that is monetized by the end of the year. So maybe for the week, you want to gain 100 followers that week. What are you going to do to gain 100 followers? First, on Monday, you are going to film 3 videos. Tuesday, you're going to edit those videos. Wednesday, you're going to post them. Thursday, you're going to interact with the community. You're going to find new people to engage with. You know what I mean? And so on. Right now, what I'm working on is I am starting a business with my husband. We are starting a hockey program, a hockey camp for this summer. It is such a big task. I don't know anything about starting a hockey business. My husband basically has a PhD in hockey, but what I can do is I can pull from my experience starting my own business, which we can get back to with my personal manifestation journey. We started with the main goal, and then we broke it down by month, and then we broke it down by week. So each week we have something specific we need to get done, and then we break that down by days. Schedule yourself a break every once in a while too. It can feel really overwhelming, and you don't want to end up burnt out and not even achieving your goal because you felt like you were doing too much. So definitely schedule some breaks along the way, but it's important to take steps every single day that align with what you're doing. Also, as I said earlier, your vision might not be exactly what you thought it was. When you're thinking of these daily tasks, maybe it takes on a different life of its own, and that's okay. If your goal is going to shift along the way, that's totally fine. The third and final tip I'm going to give you, as cheesy as this sounds, believe and trust the process. Trust the process is such an important part of this. If you are putting in the work and you believe in the process, the universe will reward you for it. There's one thing that I truly guide my life on, and that is karma. And karma is in so many different forms. I always like to talk about it in the hockey world. There's a huge thing called hockey karma. How you treat people on your team, how you treat the staff, how you treat community around you, and how you act. It follows you everywhere you go. Even as like the wives, we get so emotionally involved sometimes. And that did not come easy for me. It took me a long time to kind of take the emotions out of it and let it ride as it should. The universe will reward good energy. I'm not going to sit here and be like, believe in yourself, it will work. But you need to trust yourself and visualize yourself at the end of this goal. What does it look like? For example, again, like I said, if you are trying to be a content creator and you want to be monetized, what does monetization look for you? Does that mean that you are working with brands and you are making money through brand work? If it is, what brands are you working with? What messages are you delivering with their brand? Are you doing a get ready with me? If you are doing a get ready with me video, how have you been incorporating your get ready with me videos along the way? How can you polish that skill so when you finally get to that point, when you do have that brand deal that is so natural and so authentic to you? A lot of times we definitely see ourselves like, oh, I want to be an influencer. I want to have all these brand deals. But when it comes to like what you want about the brand deals, it's really unclear. What brand do you want to be sponsoring? Why do you want to be sponsoring them? Why do they want to sponsor you? For me, I always was super excited about the fact like if I got to a point where brands were reaching out to me about my TikTok, I would love to work with a speaker brand. I'm always listening to music as I'm getting ready for the games, or I make so many playlists that we listen to on the way to the game, and I just feel like music is so important to me. But then I had to take a step back and I thought to myself, what am I incorporating in my content right now that involves music? What about Marshall Speaker would ever want to like come to my content and say, we have a vision, we're going to work with you, because I'm not showing that side of it right now. So I think it's important to think what kind of deals you want in the future and start applying those right now. Trust the process. If it starts out clunky right away, that's okay. You're learning and you will polish it off and get there. I want to give you one more bonus tip. If your journey changes along the way, that doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean that you're not doing it right. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It might take you to a place that you had no idea was even possible and ended up turning out so much better than you thought it would. So as I said in the beginning of this video, I ended up working in a marketing field, and then what happened? What am I doing here in Germany in the hockey industry 5 years later? 2020 hit, and my husband was a professional hockey player. We did 1 year long distance. So he was playing in Riga, Latvia. I was at home still working at the ad agency. All that year, I had been planning and so excited to quit my job and move with him the following year to a place that ended up actually not even happening because the pandemic hit. The pandemic hit, and I felt like all of my planning, all of my excitement just went out the window. You know, that was a really hard time for so many people. A lot of our careers and our goals and our dreams took a big shift. I felt really sad. I felt really disappointed because I just saw my dream crushing down. We spent 7 months trying to figure out what he was going to do for a job. You know, hockey was basically eliminated from the world at that time. I just came to face the reality that what I thought in my head wasn't going to happen anymore. And I had to come to terms with that is okay. So I felt like it was time for me to move on from my job anyway, but I felt it was so hard because I was waiting and waiting and waiting for that call from Ben's agent to tell us where we were going next. You guys are going to this country, you're leaving this day, this team wants you, and then you're going to create a whole different life there. And when that call didn't come, I felt like I was getting myself more and more unhappy, staying where I was. So I ended up quitting my job and I took a different job. And this is just how the universe works. I took the job, and 3 days later, Ben gets a call from his agent. This team wants you. They want you to move to Germany. They want you to go next week. I just accepted a job. I'm really excited about the job. What I feel bad now for the team who hired me because I'm going to have to tell them I'm actually going to quit the job. They're going to have to go through the process of rehiring all again. And I just felt so overwhelmed. I ended up meeting with my boss and I was like shaking. And I was like, hi, I don't know how to tell you this. I know you just hired me, but I'm actually moving to Germany next week. So he was like, great, work from Germany, go experience life. Like, we'll still be there for you. They're a global company, so they were able to do that. And I got to move to Germany with my husband and start our journey together. So it didn't look exactly the way I'd pictured it in my head, and it turned out even better. I learned so much. I gained so much experience in the marketing and the media world that I ended up leaving and starting my own business. I've been working for myself for the business I created for the past 5 years, and it's leading me exactly to where we are today, where we are starting our hockey program. I've learned a lot about the business side, the marketing side, and colliding with Ben to work with our passions. So while the journey might look like it's going up and down, it's taking different turns. I started out miserable thinking I was going to go to med school to starting a hockey business with my husband. Manifesting can work for you. It can work for anybody who puts their mind towards their goals. It's such a powerful tool that we can harness, keep us moving forward towards our goals. So our 3 points: get clear exactly on what you want. Then you need to align your actions with your vision and believe and trust the process. You've already taken your very first step. Today, you learned about how you are going to manifest your dream life and what steps you can take to go towards that today. Let me know what dreams you're manifesting in the comments. I would love to help reach your goals as you are helping reach mine. Thank you so much for being here. I typically make videos, a little video diary series talking about my life in the hockey world and as a hockey wife, and also making a series on how we are starting our hockey program and our hockey camp. So if you want to follow along the way, I'd love to take you along with. So I'll catch you in one of those videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.